Hello, Youtube! Welcome in. We are checking out some Pave Lover. What happens when silly characters lock in? I love a good silly character. I love them. All three of these are some of my most favorite characters in those animes, and I absolutely love it when they lock in. It is one of my favorite things to see in animes is when a character is able to have fun, when they're able to be goofy, when they're able to, be a silly little fella. But then when shit hits the fan and their attention just gets laser focused and they go berserk, it is so good. Anyway, let's check this out. I have no idea about this channel. Yeah, let's get to watching.
Goofy, silly, funny characters that embody these.
Oh, like when Usopp went against Luffy. That was actually a really good fight. That was a really fun fight. Yeah, Luffy did not go all out against Usopp, but at the same time, like, Usopp fought for his ideal. Granted, it was a bad ideal, but he still fought for what he thought was correct at that point. And he locked in. It was a good fight. Plus, afterwards, when he became Soga King, and it was so cool. Anyway, continue.
Qualities have been around since the dawn of time. From Greek myths to Shakespeare to pretty much every anime imaginable. Even in real life, we often see groups of people accompanied by their personal jester. All of these guys are always there. They're typically overshadowed by people like generic main character 37 or XXX mysterious villain 69. And because of that, everyone writes them off as weak, pathetic, ridiculous, the last person you'd ever feel threatened by. But
sometimes they're never like okay. Sometimes these characters are written off as a joke, like in the case of Usopp or the teacher from Mob Psycho 1 was it 100? Yeah, it was 100. But a lot of the time they're like in the case of Arthur from Fire Force, the character is one of the strongest people in the actual game, and and everybody realizes it, but they also realize, oh, but unfortunately this guy is completely ridiculous and uncontrollable. How do we deal with this guy? Well, that's the thing. They try to figure out how to deal with him.
There's a strong possibility that at some point in your life, either through the infinite wisdom of age, or thanks to somebody who had seen enough of the world to know better, you found out that the loudest laughs often hide the deepest pain. Upon having that realization, you probably moved on like the buffoon you are. But deep down, in the back of your mind, you kept asking yourself, what happens if I've underestimated them from the very beginning? What happens when the joke is over and all this pain finally comes?
My guy is such a good character. He's so good. He's just a happy fella. He just wants to lift people up and just get swole, just get strong, he just wants extras. He's just a hyperactive, he's just the ADHD kid that found his outlet. And he loves his outlet.
What happens when the goofy, silly, funny person locks in? Let's start with a very strong one.
Fair enough. I can't actually remember the point where James locks in. Was this before I stopped watching Pokemon, or after? I'm not too sure. It's been so long since I've watched the actual Pokemon anime.
Jessie and James from Pokemon might be the most recognizable villains in anime history. And I say villains very, very loosely. Because these guys only got serious after 660 episodes.
Jesus.
Basically, these two work for Team Rocket. We're talking about a massive international criminal organization stealing people's animals, running illegal experiments, and much, much more. On paper, they're supposed to be elite agents. But if you know anything about Pokemon, you know that these two are spectacularly terrible at their job. Their entire operation turned into one single obsession: stealing the main character's Pikachu.
That they are insistent that this Pikachu is like special in some way, shape, or form. They are insistent that he is. No, he's just a very high level Pikachu. That's all. That's all. He hit level 100 within a few episodes. That's all it is. That's all it is. He's just high level. That's fine.
And episode after episode, season after season, in pretty much every region the entire story has taken place in, they have failed. Their goofiness comes down to stuff like their disguises. These two would throw on the most ridiculous, bare minimum, last-minute costumes you have ever seen in your life, and somehow everybody fell for it every single time. Like, Ash looked this man dead in the eye with some sunglasses and went, I wonder who that could be. They would take their sweet time doing the most theatrical, dramatic, over-the-top introduction known to mankind just to immediately get bamboozled by children.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. Like, Pokemon was what the actual anime Pokemon was like peak Saturday morning cartoons. Like, it was villain of the week-esque, it was goofy, it had decent morals every episode, and it just followed like an overarching story while also following individual stories in the moment in between the big story. It was peak. You could jump in on almost any episode and have absolutely no idea, no, wonder of what happened in the last one, unless somehow Ash has like a new Pokemon, which very rarely happened. But it was really good. It's so good for kids. It's such a good kids anime, and even the Japanese version was good for kids because it was pretty much the same thing. Maybe they would swear once or twice, but that's about it. The manga for Pokemon, though, that's a completely different story.
And of course, the sentence that has been burned into anime history forever, followed by a little twinkle in the sky. The crazy thing is that these two were not stupid. In fact, they were talented at so many different things. They just could not, for the life of them, catch one Pikachu. Over time, nobody really saw them as villains anymore. They just kind of...
Literally, every time they went to go catch anything other than the Pikachu, they were successful. Now that I think about it. Like, there was a time where they were able to dupe an entire group of people, like a massive group of people, to give them their Pokemon because they pretended to be a Pokemon Center for a little bit. And then they flew away. And I think the only reason why they were caught, period, was because the main characters stumbled upon them. That was it.
They became these lovable, chaotic pieces of furniture that were part of Ash's journey and that you actually looked forward to seeing every episode. But what you probably have no idea about is that at some point, all of this changed for about 20 episodes. When Pokemon Black and White dropped, the people behind the show decided they were going to do something a little different. The Unova region was being treated like completely uncharted, dangerous territory with new rules. Giovanni, the boss of Team Rocket, promoted these clowns. They swapped out the white uniforms for black ones, and from that moment on, Jesse and James dropped the Pikachu obsession entirely.
Yeah, this was actually where I stopped watching around the Unova one, mainly because they were having... Okay, hot take, I know this is a hot take. Black and White was not my favorite game. I loved the Pokedex, didn't like the actual game itself. And when I watched the actual, I think I watched an episode or two of the actual anime, and there was a point where they were ricocheting water gun and doing they were just reusing certain animations at one point over and over and over and over and over again in the exact same episode. And it was just, I just couldn't handle it anymore, so I just kind of clicked off. I don't know if I clicked off too soon or if I just kind of got frustrated at a weird time. I'm not too sure. Maybe I could give it another try, but at this point, I don't know if I'll bother too much. I'd have to pretty much rewatch Pokemon at this point.
These two are now operating as cold, calculated agents reporting directly to Giovanni himself. And for some reason, they were suddenly kind of good at it. For example, while Ash was completely distracted worrying about his second gym battle, they found a full laser grid security system protecting rare items in a museum, bypassed the whole thing in a matter of seconds, went in, grabbed a genuine ancient meteorite, and replaced it with a perfect fake on the way out while nobody noticed. All the disguises and speeches that made them who they are were gone. I mean, you know, for 20 episodes, and then they were like back to normal. But still.
They just want to try it out. But that's really cool. That's interesting. I guess they realized after 20 episodes, okay, we kind of miss our little lovable goofballs. We kind of miss them. And also, friggin' Jesse and James were the only ones, as far as I know, to have showed up for Ash's big win. Nobody else did. Fuckers. Bam. Okay, this anime, pretty much every single character was the goofy character.
Jesse and James, who just avoided the main character altogether once they got serious. Dimple from Mob Psycho 100 is a goofball who locked in so hard that he managed to beat the main character. Dimple is an evil spirit that starts the series with...
Wait, we're calling Dimple the goofy character in this one? I don't know if he qualifies as the goofy character in this one. I think that belongs to the actual, like, to the teacher. I think the teacher is the goofy boy, but you know, it's fine.
One singular goal. Brainwash enough humans and get enough followers to become, you know, a god. He creates his own personal cult called LOL, Lord of Laughter. Then he meets Mob, the main character of the series, and gets effortlessly destroyed in their very first interaction. Trust me, this is pretty normal considering Mob is, you know, literally the most overpowered character in the series. And what is left of this evil spirit is just a tiny little green cloud with his tiny little arms and bright pink circles on his cheeks. As a way to survive, he latches onto Mob and becomes his closest companion. And look, his intentions were not honorable at the start. Let's be real about that. The original plan was to either possess Mob's insanely powerful body for himself, or manipulate him into helping take over the entire world. What actually happened, though, is that this man spent the entire series accidentally becoming Mob's friend. The reason Dimple is so funny to me is that he has the ego of a final boss. He will stop mid-conversation to monologue about his grand destiny, his inevitable rise to power, his future conquest.
Okay, fair enough. I guess this is actually the reason why we would call him like the joke character in this series. He does fit that position. I still think this dude here fits the position a little bit more. And he has a really good lock-in moment at the end of the first season. But he does kind of qualify because he's kind of like the mascot character, and he is a little bit on the goofy side throughout the entire series. And his entire personality is, haha, I am going to take over the world. Never mind, I gotta protect Mob. He's my friend.
Of the entire world. But most of the other characters just straight up ignore that he exists at all. But then, after a whole series worth of failed opportunities and close calls and plans that went absolutely nowhere, this man finally kind of figures something out. At some point, Mob accidentally channels a massive burst of psychic energy into a broccoli seed. Yes, a broccoli seed. And this thing sprouts into a skyscraper-sized broccoli in the middle of the city, while everybody is standing around.
Well, hunger be damned, we're good.
Losing their minds trying to figure out what they're even looking at, Dimple just quietly slips inside it and starts using all of that massive psychic energy for himself. He then distributes the power as broccoli-flavored snacks across the entire city, which brainwashes most of the people living inside there. All of them become devoted followers who are now calling the broccoli the Divine Tree. When Mob finally tracks him down and confronts him, Dimple absorbs the tree's energy and transforms into Golden Dimple. A towering, muscular, shimmering gold armor-wearing being who genuinely goes toe-to-toe.
I fucking love Mob Psycho. I love it so much. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Look, like the art style is so jank. The character design is so wonky. But I love it so much. And the action, actual animation, everything is so good. It's so peak. If you haven't watched Mob Psycho, please take some time to go do so. It is so good.
With Mob's full psychic powers. In that moment, the man who started the series as a little wispy cloud has achieved everything he ever wanted. But then, Mob, the only person who ever accepted him and treated him like he actually mattered, stops fighting and simply speaks to him. He understands that sometimes people get carried away. He sees that Dimple's obsession with power was never really about power. It was a lonely spirit who just wanted to feel less lonely. Dimple abandons his plan, but as he accompanies the exhausted Mob back home, the Divine Tree goes completely berserk. Dimple uses the last of his power to battle the tree in one of the most spectacular fights in the series.
Oh, this all must have happened in the second season. I don't think I've seen the second season. I need to, especially just for this. Like, look at all the little details. Can you imagine the artists working on this shit? This had to have been horrible. But it looks so good.
When Mob wakes up, Dimple hypnotizes him and convinces him to walk away safely while he stays behind and sacrifices himself in order to defeat the broccoli, drop it into the ocean, and protect his friend before vanishing into nothingness.
Buddy.
There are also times when goofy characters are simply overshadowed by other characters who are just, way more cooler than they are. Until you realize that they were secretly hiding the most powerful technique in the entire series.
Yo.
My guy from Naruto is a high-ranking ninja of the Hidden Leaf Village. And even though he is one of the most respected fighters in the entire series, he is also out.
Oh yeah, everybody that's on his same level always talk to him as if he's a goofball, but also talk to him as if, like, no, you earned our respect. We trust what you're saying because we know what you can do. Like, there was one point when the Akatsuki fully showed up, and they knew that one of them had the Sharingan, right? And Mike guy was talking to Kakashi. Was like, yeah, no, fighting that guy's not a problem. You just have to, because you just need to avoid looking at his eyes. All you have to do is just wash their feet, and then you can fight them no problem. And Kakashi, motherfucking Kakashi, the goat of the series, looked at him and was like, yeah, only you are able to do that, bud.
Here with a shiny bowl cut, massive, legendary eyebrows that honestly have their own presence, and
true, the eyebrows are iconic.
Tied green spandex jumpsuit that he wears every single day and forces his student to wear as well.
There's no forcing. Rock Lee is all for that.
This man makes funny poses, funny faces, and is ridiculously passionate at all times for the most random stuff. He once lost a casual bet and sentenced himself and his student to 5,000 handstand laps around the entire village. He crashed through a building screaming dynamic entry during a very serious situation and accidentally kicked one of the good guys because he thought he was a bad guy. And last but not least, there are several times he looked Kisame dead in the face, as in, the giant blue shark man, somebody he has fought multiple times and didn't remember who he was.
That's right. I am literally a giant blue shark humanoid with a wrapped up sword in an Akatsuki uniform. There is nothing about me that is forgettable. Were you?
But the thing that really ties the whole guy experience together is that this man declared himself Kakashi's eternal rival. This is extremely important to him, but Kakashi just kinda tolerates it. And the reason this dynamic is so incredible is because Kakashi has, I believe, genuine, undeniable aura. The man knows thousands of techniques. He's a cool, calm, collected, mask on, hands in pockets kind of dude.
Literally was told, yeah, we need a Hokage, and you are the only person that can take this place at the moment. He became a Hokage because he's so good at what he does, and my guy is just like, nah, you're my best friend.
On the other hand, in a world that runs entirely on special techniques, Guy decided to just punch things. Throughout the series, you can see he's powerful, but there's always this layer of goofball energy sitting on top of everything he does that just makes it impossible to ever fully take him seriously. Until the Fourth Shinobi War reaches its peak.
The Fourth Great Ninja War begins now.
We are late in the series, and at this point, the legendary ninja Madara Uchiha has become the host of the immensely powerful Ten Tails Beast. He has defeated the leaders of the great ninja nations and overpowered most of the heroes. He has become so overwhelmingly strong that conventional attacks no longer have any effect on him. In a last-ditch effort, Guy steps forward and opens the 8th gate. The Gate of Death. This technique turns his sweat into boiling red steam. His hair stands like some kind of beast. His eyes become white. He moves so fast that he literally kicks the air to fly. His speed distorts the fabric of space around.
I never got to see this fight, actually, and I'm very sad that I never did. Once again, I should revisit Shippuden. But, like, from everything I've heard, this was such a peak fight. This was so good, apparently. I really should check this out again.
Around him. But he also gains this immense power, knowing full well that once this brief transformation is over, he will die. That is the price one has to pay for opening the Gate of Death. For his final strike, he channels every last drop of his remaining life force into a single attack, a technique named Night Guy, which shatters Madara's ribs, vaporizes half his torso, and forces a man who has become a god to scream in exhilaration and declare Guy the strongest of them all. Guy spent the entire series being the loud, embarrassing, overly emotional counterpart to the cool and effortlessly gifted Kakashi. The truth was that the man who couldn't use a single technique pushed his human body so far beyond its limits that he nearly killed a god with his bare hands, while being genuinely willing to die in order to protect his comrades.
Which is such a boss move. Like, that is aura. That is a man. That is a guy.
Okay. You think that's sick?
Yeah.
I totally get it. What if I told you that there are also times where a silly character is just a regular dude with a sword until he locks in and cuts an entire planet into like a tomato?
I never actually saw this part of this series. I've been working on catching up on Fire Force. I fell off for a little bit. I'm probably going to get back into it pretty soon here because I'm pretty close to caught up. But I didn't realize this motherfucker ended up cutting a planet in half. What the hell?
Check this out. Arthur from Fire Force is a fire soldier. Basically, a firefighter with superpowers. The world this story takes place in is plagued by something called spontaneous human combustion. Meaning, people randomly burst into flames and turn into monsters. And to deal with that, you need guys like Arthur who are pyrokinetics.
And he's actually a really good pyrokinetic because he's able to channel plasma energy, which is apparently in this world a very high level technique. It's not something that a lot of people can do.
Meaning, they can control and manipulate fire. In Arthur's case, he can channel it through a hilt and create an ultra-hot energy blade that he personally named Excalibur. On paper, he is one of the most powerful fighters in the entire series. In practice, he's an absolute nightmare.
True.
This man suffers from a severe delusion where he genuinely believes that he lives in a high fantasy medieval kingdom all the time. But where it gets actually insane is that his combat power is directly tied to how deep into the delusion he goes. At some point, Arthur is visiting this workshop, and a fight breaks out. He needs to fight, but he can't because he doesn't feel knightly enough. So the workshop owner looks around, grabs whatever
this was great. And it's so goofy, but it's one of those situations where they're like, okay, one of our strongest fighters right now has like some sort of a thing going on with his brain where he needs to feel knightly, where he needs to feel like he's in a knight style universe or medieval universe. in order to be able to do what he needs to do. And the more knightly he feels, the stronger he becomes. So they just are like, cool, let's do this. Let's make this happen.
He has there, builds this man a fake sword, and most importantly, attaches a donkey head to him as a fake horse. Everybody else standing around is just praying and genuinely preparing for the worst, because this idiot is what they're working with right now. Very reasonable. But Arthur, who feels like the most knightly knight that has ever existed in the history of knighthood, went out there and put up a very good fight. So yeah, he's undeniably powerful, but
he single-handedly held off an entire battalion at this moment. And later on, he gets even stronger because, well, one, he actually gets some proper training, and two, that same person that made this donkey strap-on for him sent him on a full-on quest to get orichalcum. Not actually orichalcum, just like a specific type of like iron or steel or something like that, so he could forge him a new sword handle, so that he could actually be strong again. And they played along with it. They just did it. And every single time he would go out, because this guy's also got the intelligence of like, I don't know, a potato, maybe. He kept on misunderstanding the quest line and going into extremely dangerous places in order to make things happen. And it was just, it was such a good episode. I do enjoy Fire Force. I find the characters are a little bit two-dimensional at times. Like, they all have one thing that their character is all about, and then they just kind of focus fire on that 100% of the time. But at the same time, like, the storyline is really fun. The characters are really enjoyable once you get past the two-dimensional bit. And the action and the animation and everything is just chef's kiss. It's so good.
Unfortunately, never really know if you're gonna get the power when it matters. Much later in the story, the Great Cataclysm hits. This is literally a world-ending event where the Earth is being consumed by fire due to a group of villains who want to bring the world back to a
Yeah, this is spoilers for me, but that's okay. That's fine. I don't mind
state
spoilers.
of chaos. Arthur fights the almost invincible villain, Dragon, against whom he has been struggling this entire time, pretty much. At some point,
Dragon just showed up out of absolutely nowhere, completely no-name dude. When he first showed up, I was like, okay, this guy is going to end up fighting Arthur, and Arthur's going to win because, you know, he's literally a freaking dragon, and Arthur's a knight. Obviously, this is Arthur's main villain that he's fighting. But then the anime does something I didn't actually expect, and they had Dragon actually wipe the hero party, like the actual like main cast. He wiped them. He won. This guy we have not seen whatsoever in the anime, at least. I don't know about the manga. Up until this point, shows up out of nowhere, declares himself a legitimate dragon, and then suddenly bodies everybody, cannot get hurt, has so much firepower it's laughable. It's just like, he came out of nowhere. I was like, what the hell is this? But I guess it's to build up for a final climactic fight for Arthur. It's like the final boss, because once Arthur beats a dragon, where else does he go from there, right?
their final confrontation is brought directly to the surface of the moon. Don't ask me how it happened. Dragon blasts Arthur's left arm and burns away the lower half of his body with a devastating attack. Bleeding out in the dead of space, Arthur accepts that he only has one final attack left in him. He raises Excalibur overhead and unleashes Violet Earth Cleaver. The slash travels thousands of miles through the vacuum of space and strikes Earth directly, cleanly cutting the entire planet in two. Weirdly enough,
Oh man, I need to lock in and catch up on that series. What the hell?
there are also times where a silly character manages to make you cry out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, IQ. Yeah, and this guy is just a little goofball. I love him so much. He's good. Like, it's not like he's the type of goofball that is just like laughable and useless the entire time. But yeah, he's just a goofy fella, and he does his best in the game. He does good in the game. So.
Tanaka from Haikyuu is a second-year volleyball player at Karasuno, and the team's personal hype man. What makes him hilarious is the pure, unhinged, uncontrollable enthusiasm. This man is...
He's your high school buddy that is just like loud, obnoxious, and just wants to hype you up at all times. Hype up everything. Those guys are so few and far between nowadays, and it's so sad, but like, whenever you have one of those guys as a friend, make sure you treasure them. They're good people.
is loud, hot-blooded, and the most sincere human being in the entire show. Now, visually, the dude has a full buzz cut and has made it his personal mission to look like an intimidating delinquent. For some reason, he is genuinely trying to strike terror into the hearts of his enemies. And it does not work.
Nope.
In fact, it completely kills whatever serious atmosphere the team had going and makes everybody around him uncomfortable. Every single time. But none of that compares to what happens when their manager enters the picture. This man treats her like she descended directly from the heavens and was placed on this earth specifically for him to admire. This man was raised in the loudest, most supportive household imaginable. And the main culprit is his older sister, who is somehow even more of a menace than he is. For most of the series...
Look. Everybody knows me as the Gooblin. I am a goofball. I'm a ridiculous person. I have no filter in games. I have no filter around my friends. I am who I am, and people understand that. I'm ridiculous. I'm not good at what I do, but I am literally the goofball of my own anime. Could I concern you guys for a moment? I am also the baby of my family. I am the youngest of 5. I am the sane brother. I am the least ridiculous when it comes to the rest of my family. I am the quietest. I am the chillest. I am the least problematic of my family. So that's what you're dealing with. I am not the final boss.
There isn't anything exceptional or even out of the ordinary about him. Unlike a lot of other characters, he doesn't particularly get an emotional arc or a specific moment that makes him shine brighter than anyone else. Don't get me wrong, he is good, but definitely not a prodigy like some other members of his team. Until one day, Karasuno faces Inarizaki High, the second-ranked team in the nation. Their players quickly identify Tanaka as the weak link and make it a deliberate strategy to repeatedly shut down his attacks and target him whenever there is an opportunity. For the first time in the series, his energy is gone. He feels completely quiet. With the score tight, Tanaka is exhausted, mentally cornered, and just can't seem to...
That's rough. Where did I fall off on Haikyuu? That's one of the problems with a lot of these animes that are coming out nowadays. They separate them so hard into like 12 to 24 episode seasons, and then they name the seasons. They don't name the seasons like Haikyuu season 1, Haikyuu season 2, Haikyuu season 3. They name them Haikyuu, just Haikyuu for season 1, and then they'll add Haikyuu summer days for season 2, or Haikyuu this type of tournament, that sort of thing. They do that, and then you're like, okay, which one is which, and where is where, and then you're trying to follow the line, and it's just so painful to try to figure it out. And then if you fall off, you then look back and you're like, oh, there's like 7 seasons to try to figure out which ones have I seen. Oh no.
play well whatsoever. The goofiness subsides as he gets frustrated. But despite all of that, even though most people would have given up, he slowly gets more and more focused. I've always known I was a pretty average dude. When I was a little kid, I was convinced I was a total prodigy. But now, I'm not number 1 in anything. And yet, that is not a good reason for me to give up.
Nope.
His teammate sets the ball to him, Inurazaki's blockers instantly close off every angle. As Tanaka runs up to the ball, he remembers all these times he thought of himself as nothing but average, in midair, with less than a second to react. He hits the ball and delivers an ultra-sharp inner shot, slicing it right past the wall of blockers and landing it clean in one of the
Get bodied.
most beautiful moments in the show. The boy everyone wrote off as a loudmouth fool proved he could withstand a level of pressure that would have broken almost anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But unlike Tanaka, there are also instances where you expect absolutely
I love these cuts that he's doing from character to character. Like, they're so jarring. I'm not expecting them ever. They just happen. I'm like, ah, God, whiplash.
nothing of a goofy character until they prove you completely wrong.
Usopp is one of my favorite characters in all of anime. Legitimately one of my favorite characters. And even after the moments where he locks in, after the moments where he proves himself, where he actually shows himself he is competent, he will go straight back to to his normal self and lock in as just the goofball who doesn't feel like, nope, I am in a world surrounded by monsters and people who don't understand what the limits of the human body are. I am in this world now, never realizing that he is part of that world and also has no limits, just like the rest of everybody else.
From One Piece.
Also, what is with this anatomy? That good old One Piece anatomy, it's all great.
He is the official sniper of the Straw Hat Pirates, and the crew's underdog is pretty reasonable, I think. The man is surrounded by people with monstrous, inhuman physical strength with powers that bend the rules of reality, while he is pretty much a regular dude.
Yeah, he is just a straight up regular dude. He's with superhuman eyesight. So all the characters on the Straw Hat crew are superhuman in some way, shape, or form, Usopp included. But these two in particular, Usopp and Nami, are easily, in my opinion, the weakest characters in the crew. The difference is that they have something to them that actually makes it so that they're actually useful in a lot of ways. Nami is a ace navigator, can read the weather just better than looking at your smartphone. She just kind of like looks up and is like, oh, it's going to rain in about 5 minutes. Oh, and that rain is going to turn into a hurricane. Oh my God, it's going to turn into a hurricane. Then she gets a little crazy. And Usopp turned her into a weather witch by giving her an actual tool to make her be able to control weather. He made that for her, meaning he has a good understanding of that sort of shit too. And Usopp is basically a fucking genius. He's basically an artificer with massive buffs to eyesight because he's a sniper as well.
Through the entire story, he mostly survives on trickery, psychological warfare, and cowardice. The comically long nose, the unhinged facial expressions, and the most ridiculous, completely made-up lies about himself that he tells with full confidence every single time. But when this man is forced into actual combat, the tactics he pulls out are so goofy, so petty, and so unbelievably creative that you genuinely cannot be mad at it. During one of his fights, Usopp pulls out a mallet. This thing is an absolutely massive, jet black, terrifying hammer with the words 5 tons painted on the side in big white letters. His opponents see it and immediately start panicking.
I was so confused when he pulled this thing out. I was like, what do you mean he has a 5-ton mallet just in his pocket like that? What do you mean? I was actually kind of confused. And just as confused as the other people. And after a second, I was like, wait, is this a fake one? I know Usopp. This doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh no, this is totally a fake. This is totally fake.
Very valid reaction. Except that in reality, the hammer is 2 tiny frying pans wrapped around inside a giant black inflatable balloon.
It's so good. And quite honestly, this thing would do some fucking damage. You're still getting hit in the head with frying pans. Those things hurt. They could cause some real damage. Yeah, not as much damage as 5 tons of iron, but it would still hurt like a mother.
Which is just supposed to scare people off. During another fight, this man stands up completely serious and starts chanting what he calls the Usopp spell. What is the Usopp spell, you might ask? Basically, my dude starts yelling out the most deeply uncomfortable, specific, viscerally unpleasant things he can think of. Stuff like, a needle is stuck under your fingernail, or even, every time you chew, you bite your tongue. And he does that to some of the most powerful enemies out there. But
I can't even remember the last time he's done that, actually. It's been so long since I watched the Skypiea arc that I can't even remember half of it. I know a lot of people apparently didn't like it just because of some having to pull Luffy out of the entire series for a little bit and have him like deal with a snake or something like that. But that was one of my favorite arcs when I was a kid, I remember. Maybe I should start at the beginning of One Piece again. Oh my god, there's so many anime I want to rewatch and watch and finish and do all this stuff with that. Like, that's too much.
Later in the series, after the Straw Hats escape this place called Water 7, their ship, the Going Merry, is way beyond repair. Luffy decides they have to abandon it, but Usopp refuses to accept this. To him, the Merry isn't just a ship, it's a crewmate that carried them through every adventure they...
And literally his last tie to not only his home, but the people he loves the most. It's like his last bastion of memory to those people and to that place. He doesn't have anything else. I can understand.
The disagreement escalates into a duel between them, which Usopp loses before leaving the crew for good. While isolated from them, Usopp
in quotations
learns that Robin, another member of the crew, has sacrificed herself to the world government to save them. The Straw Hats immediately prepare to launch a rescue mission to the island of Enies Lobby. Usopp desperately wants to help save her, but his pride and guilt prevent him from simply walking back to the crew after quitting. So, to help them without revealing his identity, he returns under the mask of Sogeking. And let's be clear, everyone except for Luffy and Chopper immediately recognize him. You know, they play along because they understand his predicament. He burns the world government flag without hesitation, showing that he will fight the entire world for his team. And during this arc, that is exactly what he does, by repeatedly risking his life.
I actually almost wonder if Luffy didn't recognize, like legitimately or subconsciously did not recognize Usopp in this moment. Because in this moment here, when Luffy actually just said Sogeking, and he pulls out the slingshot and burns the flag right then and there. Like, there was no planning beforehand, there was no thought. Luffy just subconsciously understood Sogeking knew what he wanted at that moment and gave the order. And Sogeking just did it. So I almost wonder if subconsciously Luffy was like, no, that's Usopp. That's just Usopp. But, you know, his P-brain doesn't fully understand his subconsciousness, so he doesn't fully understand what the hell's going on half the time.
But not only that, because after the rescue is over, the ship starts sailing away without him. And as it gets further and further to evade marine cannonballs, Usopp chases them down. Realizing his pride almost cost him his family, he bursts into tears and screams out his true feelings.
Yeah.
Beyond the battles,
One Piece managed to pull more tears out of me than any other series or show that I've ever watched. Granted, it's also the longest series I've ever watched, so I mean that's kind of par for the course. But it just manages to pull this shit all the goddamn time. The faces are goofy and they make no sense. And look at this face. Like, that's not sad. It's funny looking, right? But in the moment, this is the saddest looking face you've ever seen, and it almost makes you want to choke up.
all the epicness, Usopp had a final enemy to face if he wanted to become the courageous warrior he's always dreamed of. And that was his pride.
Get over here, you bitch.
Before we get to the final goofball, I would like to give a couple of
course.
honorable mentions, which are Vash the Stampede from Trigun, who somehow manages to pull off the most ridiculous moves while simultaneously being a silly little goose. And also Mako
You little goose.
from Kill la Kill, who might honestly be one of the goofiest characters in fiction history, but
Yeah.
her lock-in moments weren't
Yeah.
that crazy.
All of her moments were lock-in moments, but also being the goofiest moments. Wait, no, she had a really good lock-in moment when she became the captain of the sports team and the actual and she became an enemy. Like, she actually locked the fuck in and she had a good fight. That was a good scene. And of course, Zenitsu has to be our little tailgate for this.
すみません善一さん
Zenitsu from Demon Slayer is
Oh my goodness.
the Demon Slayer traveling alongside
Yeah, technically.
the main character. What most anime watchers know about Zenitsu is that this boy is the most theatrical, most unhinged, most embarrassing little dude in the entire show. Bro does not need a demon to show up. He will start screaming at the possibility of a demon. At even
Not just the possibility of a demon, just like the inkling that, oh, I wonder what would happen if a demon showed up, and then he would start pissing his pants because, oh god, there's going to be a demon showing up. It's like, no, we're literally in the middle of the main capital of our organization. Why do you think a demon would show up for? And what do you think would happen if it did? Plus, he also takes this Zenitsu has like multiple character tropes piled on top of each other. Like, he's the goofy character, he's a scaredy cat, he's one of the big three of the group, but also he has the lecher position. And in a lot of anime, the lecher position usually belongs to like some crude old man or some pervert or something like that, and all they want to do is just get into every girl's pants. Zenitsu is the lecher, but not because he wants to get busy, but because he legitimately thinks he's going to die at any moment, so he wants to have have a wife to pass on his lineage before he dies. That's literally the only reason why. It's a very different viewpoint of the lecher position.
the slightest thought of danger, he will latch onto Tanjiro like a backpack, cry actual rivers, and start panicking. His face does things that should not be physically possible. There's this one time when he was in a haunted mansion and met a terrified child shaking in fear before grabbing this child and putting him in front of himself as a shield. But the
literal master swordsman trained by one of the best swordsmen in the world decided to put a child in front of him because he was too scared.
most insane part of this character is that the only reason he is still breathing is that whenever things get too scary, his body just says, all right,
I'm done. I'm just going to go catatonic now. It's all good. Thankfully, I sleepwalk.
we're done. And he faints, which is when his real power kicks in, meaning this man has never, not once, fought a single demon while conscious.
Yep. And the craziest, like, when that happened, I knew something had to be up with this character, but I had no idea what. And when it finally just kind of, like, clicked on how powerful he was and what he could do, I'm just saying there, like, really? What? That, what do you mean that one just happened?
Never.
One more time, what
Not
happened?
once
Huh?
fought a single demon while conscious.
was
This
so
is, of
fun.
course, until he hears about Kaigaku a long time ago. Kaigaku trained
I still haven't seen this part. I need to see this bit. Have I finished a single anime? God damn it!
under the same master as Zenitsu. But after betraying the Demon Slayer Corps and becoming a demon, he brought unimaginable shame upon the man who had taught both of them. And that is why Zenitsu decided to face him. Kaigaku mastered several forms of thunder breathing and traded his humanity for demonic powers. As far as he's concerned, Zenitsu does not stand a chance against him. He unleashes his thunder breathing. combining it with his demon powers. Lightning tears into Zenitsu's body, splitting his skin. But when he gets back up, something is different. For the first time in the entire series, he's fully awake. The boy who spent years panicking and screaming is gone, much more completely. But as the fight rages, he reveals a form of thunder breathing that nobody had ever seen before. A technique he created himself. The seventh form. Before Kagaku can even follow his movement, Zenitsu vanishes. In a single flash, he tears past him and severs the demon's head from his shoulders. And in the
Breath of Thunder, 7th form, Flaming Thunder God, which is basically just Thunderclap and Flash by the looks of it. But what is that quote from Bruce Lee? Hold on. What is that one quote from Bruce Lee? Here it is. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. That is Zenitsu. He only knows one trick. He only knows one thing, but he has mastered that trick to such a degree that he is a terrifying beast when he uses it. Yeah, sure. You figure out how to deal with that technique, then it's not a big deal. You should be able to deal with it, right? But that, unfortunately for them, his technique that he's mastered is faster than fucking light.
the end, the boy who spent the entire series convinced he was too weak to survive turned out to be the one who pushed thunder breathing further than anyone who came before him.
This was a great video. Pave Lover, fantastic work. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Get set up for more. We upload twice a day here on the Freeform React channel. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Hey, did you enjoy that? Was it funny? Well, come and check it out live over at twitch.tv/freeform_art. Make sure you put the _art. We have lots of fun there. We enjoy ourselves, and we want to see you over there. So come on and hang out. See you in a bit.